Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and ITY video. I'm here today with Andre Lackmann. He's the Technology Director at Nine, and we're here at the PagerDuty Summit in Sydney. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Alex.
So, Andre, can you please briefly describe Nine's digital operations as it is in mid-22?
Look, I think as you'd expect, it's fairly broad for the business that spans television, digital, radio, print.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ground to cover, and so from a digital operations perspective, you've got everything from the build and run product engineering teams through to operations from a network and an infrastructure perspective, cyber, and the list goes on. So with our digital operations systems, we're trying to knit all of that together.
Sure. And how did you first come across PagerDuty, and what was the defining reason for partnering with PagerDuty for those digital operations?
Yeah, look, it'd be a fairly common story, I'd say. We've been using PagerDuty for some time, certainly since I've joined the business 5 or so years ago. And look, I think it'd be pretty familiar. Like, we were looking to determine how we're going to work out who's on call, who's on the hook for the current incident. How do we do that in a way that everybody can be kept on the same page? Coming from maybe systems in the past have been a little bit more homegrown, or Google calendars and things like that. This has been quite the step up, and I think as PagerDuty has continued to mature and add extra features and functionality, we've expanded our usage as well in some of those areas, which has been great.
So what impact has it had on the business, and can you expand on that with some key metrics?
Look, there's probably not any particular metrics to share, I suppose, but I think the biggest thing is just keeping everybody across what's happening when it comes to a particular incident, and making sure the incident gets to the right teams. When something fires and you get a bit of an insight into that there's a problem at the moment, it's not always clear where that incident, what the root cause for that incident is. And so as much as one of your product engineering teams or a particular team might get the initial alert or the initial incident, they're not necessarily the only team that's going to be involved in responding and fixing that incident as well. So I think we look at PagerDuty and look for it to bring together our disparate teams and allow them to communicate to each other without necessarily actually knowing each other. Like we've spoken a lot about the pandemic and people not knowing each other as much, but and that's exacerbated maybe problems that larger organisations like ourselves have in that people don't necessarily work with each other day in, day out. But I think from a metrics perspective, the great thing we like about PagerDuty is it gives us that insight and a place where all of that information is collected, and so we can come back and say, are we improving? What are we doing? How can we make things better based on what happened in the past and looking into the future?
Now, this is PagerDuty Summit 2022. They've had several of these, and as with all companies, even your own company, there's continuous improvement. I mean, people talk about digital transformation. We're always trying to make things better and smoother. So how has PagerDuty supported your teams and overall digital operations? You must be getting great support.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, Nine is a 24/7 operation. If you think about some of our brands being Nine Now from a broadcast video on demand service, both in that VOD space, but also live publishing from a print perspective, and radio, and some of our digital brands. The time never stops, and when there is an incident, we have to get on things really quickly, because time is money. If we are down, like we were, I think last week, due to a vendor incident with Nine Now, if we can't serve ads in a video on demand stream, then we're not making money in that time period, and it's all hands on deck. So I think PagerDuty just helps us respond and get back into a good state of running as quickly as possible, because it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, expectations of digital operations by customers is through the roof. So clearly, PagerDuty has helped you really create some value there for those customers to get things back online as quickly as possible. And the audience expectations have never been higher, yeah.
Right? And the competition in the market
It's endless.
Continues to increase in all spaces.
Yeah.
So whether it's in our television brands with all of the over-the-top streamers moving into our markets, from a publishing perspective, a lot of the geographic monopolies are breaking down and have broken down, and everyone's moving much more to digital publishing. So from an audience perspective, the demands are sky high, and they should be, right? Like our competitors are in this space. We have to be as good, if not better. So look, it's it's never a dull moment.
I'm just reminded of Freddie Mercury. We want it all, and we want it now, and that was 20 or 30 years ago.
Sounds about right.
So, what advice do you have for other organisations considering PagerDuty for their operations?
Advice. Look, I mean, it's a great place to get a one-stop shop for your incident response. It really brings together and brings everybody onto the same page when it comes to what's happening during an incident and how to ensure that the right people are brought on. I think if there's a learning that we would have as a merged organisation, we've brought together a number of different parts of the business over time. We've merged 2 different PagerDuty instances together. We're integrating ServiceNow and that type of thing. So if I had a learning, it's if you are jumping into PagerDuty for the first time, do spend some time in some of that early configuration and ensure that it does match up or mesh into the way your organisation works. Because changing it later, not impossible, but more challenging.
Always important to lay the good foundations at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now we've only had a couple of the sessions thus far. The CEO and some other, just a couple of sessions. Any highlights for you thus far?
Highlights. Look, for me, it's probably the automation and the workflow piece. I think that was really speaking to me as a manager. Just trying to lower the toil or lower the cognitive load for our teams as much as possible, taking away some of that noise, but also just allowing people to do the same thing, have a same response to every incident, make sure we don't miss things, and having things buried potentially in wikis or in documentation, or just learnt over time, and allowing our team members to get up to speed much faster. I think they're the types of things that I'm looking for today, a little bit deeper as well, but that we're looking at in the business as well. Yeah,
well, no doubt all those other on-demand sessions will have all sorts of nuggets of gold that you'll be able to, absolutely put into practice. So what's your final message to ITWire viewers and readers, and to your current and future customers and partners?
The final message is for viewers and readers. I think, as a technology team and business, we're no different from everybody else. The tech recruiting market is hotter than ever. And anybody watching this who is looking for a role in a really fast-moving media environment, Nine is a great place to look at. We've got roles across the board. So please get in touch. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. And from an audience perspective, look, you can only look for more and better for us. I think particularly in the broadcast space, there's a big project underway about improving our broadcast. Our digital broadcast environment, and you'll start to see that land over the next 3 or 6 months, and we continue to evolve all our brands. So I think the pandemic, as much as it has been challenging for all of us, I think has been a real positive for our teams in focusing the work that we do, and allowing us to look forward to the future as well. So
as everyone said, digital acceleration really took off.
It has been.
Well, Andre Lackmann, Technical Director of Nine, thank you very much, and I'll let you get back to the rest of the conference.
Great. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.